after several rounds of back-and-forth negotiation, the United States and Germany each announced they would send tanks to Ukraine. In what amounted to a reversal of policy, U.S. President Joe Biden said Washington would provide 31 M1 Abrams tanks, while Berlin said it will provide 14 Leopard 2 tanks to Kyiv's troops as the first step. So how might this development impact the current situation on the battlefield?
Well, the Leopard 2s are much better than what the Ukrainians already have, and they're better than most of the Russian tanks. Also, they have a couple of advantages. One of them is that they're less vulnerable because the ammunition is not stored in the crew compartment. It's certainly going to be helpful for the Ukrainian military, but you have to keep in mind it's not going to make a major effect on the battlefield. Victory will come from the cumulative effect.
The tanks package has been welcomed by Kyiv, coming as it does after months of pleas for heavy armed vehicles from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. He has said repeatedly he believes Russia will try to stage new offensives in the spring.
We're all very grateful to them. It was a breakthrough for us. There was also a lot of other military equipment.
However, what lies between Zelensky and his tanks package is time. Washington says the procurement process will take months, and Berlin also knows that the Leopard 2 tanks are now due before this March. But when they do arrive, how will these heavy weapons impact the current situation? Let's take a look at some numbers first. Since the conflict started nearly 1 year ago, experts say Ukraine has lost an estimated of around 3,000 main battle tanks, and for the number of those provided by its Western allies, it's about 300.
Of course, the United States wants to drag conflicts even longer. The fire of the conflict didn't reach the door of the Americans. They want to use Ukraine as a weapon to attack Russia. The longer the conflict is, Moscow will suffer from even more economic and military losses. This is the US and its Western allies' true intention, because currently they haven't achieved it.
And some observers have also accused the US of taking financial advantages of the conflict.
After the outbreak of the conflict, due to the multiple rounds of sanctions imposed by the West on Russia, the originally close economic and trade ties between Europe and Russia were almost cut off, and Europe fell into an energy dilemma. The United States took the opportunity to export large quantities of liquefied natural gas to Europe at high prices. What do higher energy prices mean? Since almost all energy products are anchored in dollars, or priced and traded in dollars, Europe is importing US inflation.
Russia says Western countries' supply of tanks to Ukraine would push the confrontation between Russia and the West to a new height. And they believe NATO is fully engaged in the confrontation with Russia in Ukraine, and that this confrontation is now escalating. Experts say Kremlin may take countermeasures, including sending more Mark robots and T-14 tanks.
In my point of view, Russia may put into more drones into the conflict in order to reduce the gap with the West in informatization. On the other hand, more thermobaric bombs can be also seen on the battlefields.
Some analysts say the hope of finding a diplomatic solution to the conflict will be made harder with the arrival of heavy weapons. As Russia's conflict with Ukraine reaches 1 year anniversary, few have hopes that a peace will be reached anytime soon.